watching the North Carolina Food and Beverage Podcast. I am your host, Max Trujillo, and with me today is my coworker. Yeah, we actually work together at PFG. Well, let's just announce her first. It's Miss Jillian Whitlow. Hello, welcome.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on the show. You're not on the show just because you work with me at PFG, Performance Food Group. You have a pretty interesting story, but that's how we know each other. That's how we met. And we were just like chatting about various things you do. And I'm like, oh yeah, you've been in the industry for a while. You know a lot of people that I know. And you've kind of like worked around, I don't know, various things. So I guess let's get into it a little bit. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
So originally I'm from upstate New York.
Okay.
So I have been in North Carolina for 21 years. So everybody says, oh, well, you're a North Carolinian. And I was like, no, I will always be a New Yorker. So yeah, I mean, I always like to call myself kind of like the Jill of all trades. I have a little bit of everything and but been a pretty linear path as far as like food and equestrian horse and all of that.
You're a
it's
crazy
kind of
horse girl?
yeah, I'm a crazy horse girl. Yeah, born and raised.
Taylor Swift would be proud.
Oh gosh, no Taylor Swift for me. I'm good.
Oh, no. I thought that was mandatory if you were a horse girl.
I don't know. She's a great businesswoman, but that's where it goes for me. That's it.
So, okay, but you've lived here, you said 22 years you've been?
21, almost 22. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm, what is it, 12 years from California, living in North Carolina, living in Raleigh. But you've been involved in food and both kind of like front and back of the house, is that right?
So I went to culinary school straight out of high school. So I was actually 17 when I moved from Syracuse, New York, all the way to Scottsdale, Arizona. So I went 2,500 miles and was like, you know what? I love Arizona. And it was a place actually that we used to show horses at every February. So I was like, oh, I should go to culinary school out here. Let me pick the furthest place. But it was 2 years of intensive culinary arts.
Yeah.
But it was all in the kitchen. And the wonderful thing is that it really taught me a bunch of independence and, how to kind of grow up. I lived in a studio apartment by myself, went to culinary school Monday through Friday from 7 to 3 in the afternoon every day.
This is when you were 17, almost
17, yeah. I wasn't even legal to do anything, right? Like, my mom had to move me out there and get me an apartment and sign all the things and pretend that she was staying with me and get me a cell phone and all the things. So, but it was now looking back at 41 years old and realizing, if I hadn't done that, I would not have probably moved out of my mom's house, to be honest with you.
And it's funny, Scottsdale just came up 2 episodes ago when I was speaking with Anthony Rapillo, which I think you know him, you worked with him. He mentioned that he apparently there's like a crazy nightlife bar scene out there with like craft cocktail scene.
Oh, well,
you probably wouldn't have known.
Maybe not 20-something, 23, 24 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely partook in those activities, not legally, but definitely did.
What?
I know. Imagine that. So.
So Scottsdale, that's they have a good culinary program.
Yeah. So I went to Scottsdale Culinary Institute, Le Cordon Bleu. So I actually have a dual degree.
Yeah.
So classically French trained, but grew up in an Italian household. My mom was not Italian, but adapted the culture of the Italians.
Yeah.
She grew up on a dairy farm, so not a whole lot of. She lived off the land, so there wasn't a whole lot of like gourmet cooking coming out of her house when she was growing up.
Yeah.
So when she married my dad in the Italian culture, really adopted that. And that's kind of where I really got passionate with food at an early age of 2, scrambling eggs and making pasta and all the things.
I love it. Yeah. We just went to Italy last year in the summer.
That was crazy anyways. This summer in Italy. Okay. How hot was it?
Oh, no, it was great.
No,
it was like, we went in June right after the girls graduated from school. One graduated from 8th grade, the other one from 5th grade. It was awesome. Like we had an excellent time. And my ex, she's Italian, part Italian. And while we were there, you could you could get your dual citizenship there. They're like, they're asking people
Yeah.
to come, you know?
Yep.
So from what I understand, she's still working on it. It's not going to work out for me anymore. But the funny part
Girls
was,
will be able to.
my girls would be able to. The funny part was for spouses, for people that are dual citizenship, they don't have to speak Italian, but the spouses have to take an Italian course, and you have to like pass.
Perfect.
Yeah, so if I was going to get a dual citizenship, I'd have to hablar Italiano.
Duolingo, here we come.
Oh,
Right?
it was already in full effect, but not gonna do that any longer.
Yeah.
But okay, cool. So we work together at PFG, though we're not on the same sales team. You kind of have a territory, if you will. We're area managers, you know. So I'm effectively in the Raleigh area, but I also go to Cary and Durham and RTP and whoever will have me. But
Right.
and that's kind of how my team works as well. And your territory kind of like butts up against ours.
Yes.
But whereabouts are you?
So I live in Timberlake, which is north Durham. I'm in
Okay.
Roxborough. So if you drop a pin around my house, and I go an hour radius around my house. So I go Danville, Virginia, and Yanceyville, and then I go all the way to Oxford, which is also part of your guys' territory.
Yeah.
I go
Isn't that where Revlon is?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I go into Oxford, and then I go all the way to Greensboro, Chapel Hill, Burlington, Mebane.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's a lot going on.
It is, but I came from prior to working. Before I came to Performance, I was working for a fresh pasta company outside of Boston, Massachusetts. And so I was actually the regional sales manager. And so I was hired for North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia.
Yeah.
And I was so good and so effective at my job that they were like, guess what you get? You get more territory. So I ended up adding on Tennessee, Georgia, Maryland.
Jeez.
And I was the sole pasta supplier for Augusta National.
Wow.
So it was tailored super, like I didn't have to drive from Maryland to Myrtle Beach in one day, right?
Yeah.
But for our daily lives, it's a lot. Because if you think about an hour radius around my house, right? Probably just like for you, if you're going from furthest point to furthest point, it takes me over 2 hours of, driving if I have to do any sort of changes
Just like
through the day.
the best was last Friday. I had to, we don't have like a will call in this area because it's all the way in Hickory. So like we do have will call, but no one's going to do that.
We are will call.
Yeah. We will, what do they call it? A bill to ship to, where you'll send something to another account, but it's just a small amount, a case or two of something, send it somewhere else that's friendly, that is aware of it. And they're like, yeah, we don't care, man, send it. And then we just pick that stuff up and go take it
Right.
to the place.
Right.
I had to take 4 tiny little packets of Hidden Valley Ranch dressing.
Of course.
Not dressing, but the powder.
Yeah.
I picked it up in Garner at 6:30 a.m. and then drove all the way to almost the top of Durham to just hand this off. And I was like, oh, that was a good use
That
of my
was,
time.
really.
It's
yeah.
also like
really
a thing
efficient.
you could just
for
buy at any grocery
Well,
store.
right? You should have just Restaurant Depot or, a grocery store and dropped that thing off.
Yeah. But, aside from that,
It's a service you provided, so
oh,
great
yeah.
job.
And the manager was so thankful when
And
I was
when
there.
I first started training, I was like, there's going to be a couple things I'm not going to do. I'm never going to have anybody on credit hold. Ha ha ha.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Picking up checks and collecting money. And
Constant.
I'm never going to do a bill to ship to. Oh, how naive I was. It's like
Yeah.
those are literally everything I do every single day is.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like one of those things. I'm like, okay, I have a hard thing of from May until October, I don't do bill to ship tos because it's too hot in my car. And you're talking about that it's a 2-hour drive for me. So if a team member can't do it, you don't get it. So I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Wait, but you're not doing it? You're just saying no?
There are a lot of times
Yeah,
that I'm like,
sometimes
I am not going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you kind of train your customers a little bit to be like, hey, look, let's get this order right.
Yeah.
And also, you can
If it's
order
my
again.
mistake, I'll 100% do it. If it's yours, not going to happen, buddy. Not on Friday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Not happening.
Yeah. So, and this company is interesting. It's a little different than the other companies, whereas like we're a commission-based company, so we're not all on salary or like, everybody's judged by their numbers, of course, but we're a little different, which was like kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to go work there as well. And my best buddy who lives out in Alabama in the Huntsville, or I guess he's in the Tennessee OpCo, but it goes down to Huntsville. He was the best man at my wedding. Like we're real close. He's been working there and he's like a top 5 sales rep in the nation for the company. So he kills it.
Yeah.
So naturally he loves it.
Yeah,
And he's
right.
like, bro, you would be so awesome. And I'm waiting for that moment to happen.
It will happen. You gotta give it like a solid 2 years, and then you're gonna have that moment, and you'll be like, "What am I doing?"
Yeah, that's usually
Yeah.
those are the moments I'm having right now.
Yeah.
But okay, but you got into being a food rep. So let's just spend a little bit of time talking about that, because we were talking about it before. We've never, in the 520 some odd episodes, have never had a food rep on the show.
That might be for good reason. Who knows? We're about to find out.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. It's not like it's not a sexy job.
It's not super glamorous. Although I feel like that's what I bring to the streets, right?
I mean,
it's like
you're
that's what I have to
glamorous.
do.
Yeah, you're glamorous,
Yeah.
no doubt. So you're bringing it, and yeah, I mean, the job is that like we're kind of behind the scenes. We walk through the back into a kitchen, and you're just sitting on like boxes talking to people about whatever with your laptop in hand, and you're going through orders with people, and you're also trying to figure out new things for them and trying to save them money while also trying to increase their sales. You're a consultant for them, and like that's the cool part of the gig. But yeah, it is a lot of just checking inventories, making sure things are in stock, when's it coming back,
Right.
all that.
Yeah.
What's your perspective of the job? Like, how are you?
So, I mean, I really do enjoy kind of the 3 aspects that I kind of bring to it. And the way I look at it is I'm passionate about sales and entrepreneurship. I still get to be creative in the kitchen, not as much as I used to be or would hope that I would. But I'm also an educator. So, that's also another portion of it. And those are kind of 3 things that I have found this job to kind of encompass, is being able to take all 3 of those things. And even though I think probably you and I would relate a lot on the chef creativity side of things, when things are chaotic for us, we tend to go into the chaos of the kitchen, right? So for me, that's when I feel like I can't control anything, I go to the kitchen and I create. So it doesn't look like for somebody on the outside that is controllable or anything like that or organized. But for me, that's where I feel the most comfortable.
Yeah.
But I'm able to bring all 3 of those things to the streets every day. Sometimes it's more in one area than another. For the most part, the macro picture of things.
Yeah. And with that said, with like your entrepreneurial side of things, we were talking about it too. And this was one of the first things we discussed, was that you kind of went out there and started opening up your own business, Che Figata.
Yep. So that means way cool.
Way cool.
Yeah.
Italian slang.
Yeah.
Yeah, Che Figata. And what is it? What is Che Figata?
So it's a women's all-inclusive chef jacket. So in 2020, during COVID, right, we're all like, don't really know what to do with ourselves. I was the program head for Vance Granville Community College Culinary Arts Program. And there were no students. I was teaching via Zoom, which is very difficult to teach at a rural community college with not that many resources over Zoom. They were allowed to come to class or not come to class. It didn't really matter during those times. But, without kind of skipping around too much, I had had a drastic weight loss at that point, and I felt uncomfortable in these chef jackets that just didn't fit. So I went, I would have these unisex jackets. They were ill-fitting.
Yeah.
Or men's jackets that were ill-fitting. And then women's jackets that were ill-fitting because they didn't fit right. So I was like, okay, I'm going to design my own. So I sat at my kitchen counter and I didn't know where to start, but I just started.
Yeah.
And then sourced it. It was very woman focused. So I sourced it in all of the materials for a U.S. California-based women-owned material company.
Nice.
I had it manufactured in Nashville, which was an all-women's manufacturing small business. The zippers, the tagging, everything was actually, it was Canadian based, but they had an office here in the US, and it was a women's based. And then it was designed and promoted and marketed and branded and all of that by a woman. So,
Nice.
the
Who's lifting all the heavy boxes?
a woman, of
All right.
course.
Just making
Yeah.
sure.
So just, me and I have two girls. And so, they were also part of, to kind of like sit at your kitchen counter and say, I don't like how this fits. So I'm going to do something about it. Right.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing for my chef jackets is that they're fitted and they're functional. So then that way you have a built-in panel all the way from your wrist all the way down to your hip that is a stretch panel.
Yeah, I noticed this when I was
Yeah.
looking at it. So, yeah, so like for simplicity's sake, your side panels are a stretchier material that sew into the traditional like white coat or
Right.
you have black as well. You
Yeah, I
have
have
various
black
colors.
and purple. Yeah, I have a couple different colors. And that was kind of like the fun of it, right? Is like, let's bring some style and design into the kitchen because when you step into a kitchen as a woman, especially, I can speak for myself and the other women that I have worked with,
Yeah.
is that you tend to throw your hair up. You tend to not wear makeup. You don't have your nails done, right? So there's not a whole lot of identity that you can bring
Yeah.
to the kitchen except for your your passion and your drive. But now you get to be able to feel confident and quote unquote sexy, whatever that means for you,
Sure.
in this jacket. So, but it's still functional. You can lift your arms above your head. When you're trying to get things off of a shelf and you can't lift your arms past your shoulders, in these ill-fitting women's jackets,
Yeah.
it just doesn't make any sense. It never made any sense. So I went to France in 2018 with my oldest daughter. It was one of her trips in September that her and I went to. And I went and bought myself a really expensive French jacket. And I loved how it fit, but it was there was just like a couple of things that I wanted to tweak. So I took that along with an American style, along with what felt good to me.
Yeah.
And everybody that has put them on, whether they are a chef, a cook, a home cook, a caterer, no matter what, I just have friends that put it on
Yeah.
and they're like, oh my gosh, I love this. I wish you would design regular clothes. And I'm like, yeah, that's not me. But,
Yeah.
who knows what the future holds. But it was something that was very empowering as well. And to sit there and say to my girls, you can do something about it. You can change something.
Yeah.
I'm not out here trying to run a.
Fortune 500.
Yeah, it's not.
You
For
saw-
me, it wasn't about
saw a
that.
situation
There was
where
a
you could
need.
make a change,
There
yeah.
still is a need, and I think we've come a long way even since 2020 in the chef jacket in the women's realm. But I like to say that I was in the forefront of that.
Yeah.
In that design.
By the way, shout out to a former guest of the show, a friend of the show, and was a model on your website, Miss Crystal Harris, Mama Salsa.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
she's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, I love her to death. Fellow Californian as well.
Okay.
But she's been on the show, and we used to buy her salsa at Crafton, and
Her and I just talked, and I was like, I really wish that we lived just a little bit closer because,
Yeah.
her and I could be dangerous together.
oh, I can see that. I can
Yeah,
see that.
absolutely.
Her salsa is, if
It's-
people haven't had it,
it's-
get it.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, you can usually get it at like the farmers markets where she's at, and just look it up, Mama Salsa here in Raleigh. It's awesome.
Absolutely.
So that's cool. So you do it now. I mean, obviously, this is probably something that doesn't take a tremendous amount of time out of your day, but you have a website, people can go to it. Can you like customize it? Can you like?
So right now I just have the two colors. I have the white with an inset, and then I have the black with the inset. And then we can do embroidery onto it, and
Sure.
you just go on there, you purchase. And I also have some hats that were designed by a company in Tallahassee, a woman-owned company in Tallahassee.
Nice.
Just regular, trucker hat style with
Yeah.
our logo on it. And then me and or one of my daughters goes out and packages it and gets shipped off to
Nice.
you. So.
And they're not terribly expensive. I mean, chef coats themselves are expensive. They're more than what like a typical, shirt or jacket would be because of the material, but they're like $149, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make it that it was a little bit higher end, that it wasn't, you're not going on Amazon and getting a $20 toss and wear type of situation.
Yeah.
It is an investment piece for some people, but it's definitely something that's going to last ages for you.
Yeah.
Well made.
A hand-me-down
Yes.
that your daughters can get and wear them
Yes,
later.
Absolutely.
No, that's cool. All right, now you did say in your description of like how you got there that you lost some significant weight.
It's a lot of pieces. There's a lot of pieces to
I was
it,
listening,
to it.
but you caught my eye or caught my ear when you said that you lost significant weight. We kind of touched upon this just while we were working. And for those that can't see her, I mean, we're on YouTube, so you can watch the page and all that. But you're fit, you're thin, you're fit, you look nice, and you're in great shape. And fitness, just because we're also like Facebook friends, and I see you're like a crazy like gym rat. Like,
Yeah. I am now.
Yeah.
That was never my description up until a couple years ago.
Yeah. So I guess for those that would like to know, and I think everybody wants to know, and they like to hear these good stories. What was your weight and why did you change?
I mean, embarrassingly, right now it's like one of those double-edged swords of being like, ugh, to like admit that I had gotten as heavy as what I was. I don't actually know what my heaviest was. I know when I started my journey what I was, but I was very depressed. I was a stay-at-home mom with my oldest daughter was diagnosed with a rare autoimmune disease, and that was absolutely hell for still kind of is, and she's 15.
Yeah.
And so I really lost myself. I had always struggled with weight, was able to quote unquote keep it under control, but then I got married and things settle a little bit differently when you get married, and then got pregnant and had babies and all the things.
That'll really do it.
It really does it. And then I was working from home, and so I'm an extrovert but an introvert. Like I love my
You're an
comfort. Oh, okay.
Yeah. We've all had cocktails.
I'm an extrovert.
Yeah.
I need that socialization.
Yeah.
I do really enjoy it. So, I mean, I think honestly, when I started my weight loss journey, I was somewhere in the 250, 260. I could have been 270. It could have been more. I
But
don't
even
really
at
know.
on your frame, that's
It's a lot.
That's a lot of weight to be carrying around.
Everybody was like, "Oh,
That's more than what I weigh now."
So beautiful," and I was like, "Well, thank you, but you lied to me literally 3 decades of my life." So, in 2017, it was a wake up call. I just like was standing in the shower and was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. I'm miserable. I don't want to live like this. There was that was like the one moment. And so I just really started to focus on more so my nutrition. I didn't start working out until I really had lost over 100 pounds. Because it really wasn't, for me, it was more like I needed to lose the weight before I could really think about working out. And I'm not athletic. I'm really not athletic, which everybody thinks is funny for me to say now. But I don't think of myself as athletic just because I lift weights or, I ride horses. But I don't, again, it is... I ride, it's athletic, but I'm not.
Swift can't throw a football. I don't know.
Who knows?
Maybe she's throwing him to Travis Kelce. Maybe he's helping her.
Possibly.
But no, you don't have to be athletic to be fit and be a gym rat. I mean,
right. So, I mean, I lost the bulk of my weight really by nutrition, and then I started working out. My mom died suddenly in 2018, so that really, it probably helped me because I lost a lot of weight right after that.
Because of depression.
She was my absolute best friend. She lived on the farm. If you
don't mind me asking, did she pass did you know why she passed or was it like sudden?
So it was sudden. She had had some health issues leading up to that a couple years prior, but she was on a really good path and doing really well. She laid down to take a nap and didn't wake up. She was 63.
Oh my God.
So we have 50 acres in Timberlake, and that's where our horses are. And she had a house. My dad and her had a house, and then my husband and I had the farm that we renovated, the farmhouse that we renovated.
Yeah.
So we lived on the same property, and I talked to her at least twice a day. We ran the horse business together as well. My girls walked up her driveway every single day. So we were very integrated in our lives. Yeah. So it was a huge loss for me personally, obviously my entire family, but so it also that helped me lose a little extra weight.
Yeah.
And then I right before she had died, I started working out. And then when she died, I took a break, and then finally, like, 2 or 3 weeks after she passed, I was like, okay, I gotta, like, start putting one foot
Yeah.
in front of the other. And so I started a HIIT class that I take Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, and then
HIIT class?
like
What's
a
that?
high intensity interval training,
okay,
like a
yeah.
cardio class.
You're talking to a guy that barely knows what any of
Yeah.
this stuff is. Yeah.
So I still do that 3 days a week.
Yeah.
But then I started, I don't know, it was probably 2019 or early 2020 before COVID hit that I started to lift weights. Started a couple of times a week. I was doing personal training with somebody at the gym. And then I have one of my best friends, and she is a personal trainer. And she teaches the high intensity interval training classes.
Yeah.
And she's a personal training and happens to be my best friend. And so she started
nice.
training me amongst other women as well. And she does guys as well. But so I actually do that 4 times a week. So 2 days a week I do double time. And then so Sundays are usually my day off.
I mean, that's a crazy amount of commitment, and it all comes down to discipline.
Yeah.
But, like, no offense, you probably didn't have that discipline before, right? Which
I
led
had
you...
discipline. Like, it just was weirdly in my life, right? So I was very disciplined. I was very schedule and routine oriented. The horses, my business, my, just like life in general was very disciplined.
Yeah.
But not that way. And still today, it's very difficult. Like, I had to be very careful about what I eat, how I eat. I wake up thinking about it. I go to bed thinking about it. It's, I have body dysmorphia because I still see myself as 270 pounds, sitting here at 125 now. And
You're 125 now.
yeah,
So,
and,
wow.
and
That's an amazing amount of weight. You lost more than half of your body.
well, if you put my 2 kids together, and that's essentially what I lost, it's mind-boggling, but that's not how I see it. So, a lot of, for me, is I have to make sure that I continue to think of it that way, which sounds really kind of messed up. Mm-hmm. But if I allow any of the complacency to creep back in, or I come off a schedule, that I drop working out in the mornings or, something like that, it's very easy for me to think about going and adding all that weight back on.
I have to imagine that you do feel like it's always behind you, like it's always looming. Like,
it's always there.
You feel like if you don't, like, do you have what they say, like a cheat day or whatever? Like, do you ever allow yourself to just like mow down a cheesecake or anything like that?
But I have discipline that if you were like, oh, do you want a dessert? I can have one bite of it and move on. Like it. And then I'll say to my husband, oh my gosh, I'm craving, a chocolate chip cookie sandwich. And he'll go and he'll buy me a package of them. And
then eat them all in front of you?
No, but what happens is I don't end up eating them. They sit in the freezer. And then I go 4, 5, 6 weeks later to go have my very one, because I was craving it 6 weeks ago. And they're gone. And I'm like, then I lose it. And I'm like, who ate my chocolate chip? And they're like, they've been sitting there for 6 weeks. What do you mean? Yeah. And I was like, no.
My daughter had an ice cream sandwich today, and
so now
in front of me.
I will allow myself, if I want something, I allow myself to have it, but it's a very small amount, and it's very far and few between. I really, really enjoy food, but I have to find it in ways that it serves me and not deserves me.
See, okay, I'm glad that you said that. That's an interesting thing. So there was a guy that I used to work with back in California, Lawrence. I wonder, Lawrence, if you listen to this podcast, you'd love that I'm mentioning your name right now because he's an attention whore. And he was a stand-up comedian and whatever. But he at one point was fat, like very fat.
That was me.
And he was a stand-up comedian in New York, and he's like, the New York Jew. He's got like all the New York isms. And he opened for what was his name? Jackie Mason.
Okay.
It was like Jackie Mason. He talked like this. He was a really funny comedian. He did all these things. He's got
Probably
like
too
a
young
rude
for
guy.
that, Max.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
The fact that I know who Jackie Mason is crazy, but Jackie Mason was a big deal back in the day. Like, ask your parents, they'd know who he was. And Lawrence opened for him all the time. And I think at one point, even Jackie Mason gave him shit. He was like, "Why are you such a fat guy? Why are you such a fat piece of shit? You should probably lose your weight." And he finally like decided to lose a crazy amount of weight. Now so much so that he's now like fit and kind of ripped, but he's like obsessed. And he said to me at one point, and it sucked because we worked at a really fancy restaurant, like fine dining, crazy wine list. This is like the place that I was running for a while. He hated food, or he decided that he must start like not enjoying food.
Yeah.
He's like, the only way I can get through this is if I just grill a bunch of chicken, throw a bunch of vegetables here, and like do whatever, and then I just eat it as fuel and don't eat for fun.
Yeah.
He's like, I had to eliminate the fun out of food to get to the point where I could like feel healthy again.
Right.
And I never liked hearing that. I was like, that sounds like a miserable lifestyle. But so how do you, as a cordon bleu chef, trained chef, who sells food for a living, and believe me, we sell some unhealthy shit every now and then, too.
Yeah.
We
Go to one of those general sales meetings, and literally my heart's like, no, just walk out, Jillian. Walk out.
How much fried food can you have in one sitting?
40 stations of exactly the same fried appetizer, just in 17 different ways that you can have it. I think, for me is one, I cook for other people so that I still get the enjoyment. I can still taste it without having to sit down and really indulge. So I tend to make everybody else gain weight around me so that I don't have to do it. And I still really love to go to really, really nice restaurants, and that's my indulge, right? So I may not probably order what you would think would be like the indulging side of it. But again, because I can have, I order something that's super decadent, I can have a couple bites of it and move on. It's not something that I have to finish. And then it ends up being lunch for the next day and dinner for the next day.
Well, what's one of your favorite restaurants right now? You're out there in Greensboro, right?
Well, I'm in Roxborough, so I mean, we don't have very few. And the ones that we do, guess who's 100% in them? It's me.
Nice.
I mean, it's besides, listen, I've only eaten at the Golden Corral one time. That was a big mistake 20-something years ago, and I will never do it again. Yeah. I've never been a buffet person. Roxborough, we're working on coming up, so we do have, good restaurants, but
if you're like in Greensboro, you could go to like Machete or something.
Yeah, so for me, Italian food is always what I want. But if I do Italian food, then it's going to be a protein, and then I eat some pasta that comes from one of the girls ordering or my husband ordering. So then that way I can still enjoy. We went to Local 22 this weekend.
Yeah, it's a good spot.
And we love their lamb pizza. So I had a slice of the lamb pizza, and I had an espresso martini because I will still drink. Yeah. But, occasionally, not a ton. And then I think, what else did I have? I mean, I think I had a Caesar salad. So, but I kind of like picked from everybody else's plate, had a bite. So then I felt super satisfied.
That's not too bad. I mean, that doesn't sound unmanageable. And I mean, but did that mean that you just went extra hard in the gym the next day, or do you do that to yourself? Because you don't punish yourself?
No, what we, as a group, as far as my girlfriend Lindsay, who is my personal trainer, my best friend, we've worked really hard at being in our 40s now and trying to reframe it, especially for our children. And because I am so hard on myself mentally inside my head, if I said those things out loud, everybody would be like, oh my gosh, Jillian, what is going on? We can still have a balance of our life. Obviously, for me, the balance is very different than probably what somebody else's is. But that being said, I try not to look at it as a punishment of just sitting here and saying, I get to get up in the morning and I get to go work out. So even though I had a glass of wine tonight, it's not that big of a deal. I can move on tomorrow. Now, It might be, I don't do fast food. I don't, there's a lot of things that I just do not do.
Yeah.
Probably if I sat here and had a Whopper or something like that, I probably would beat myself up, right? But I just have taken that 100% out, so I don't have to deal with that mentally for myself.
So are you like a menu planner? Like, do you plan out your food for the week?
So Sundays, when we're working at home on Sundays, is my day.
By the way, we oddly work way too hard on Sundays.
6 days a week.
Not my favorite part of the job.
Sundays it's tough not to get 2 back-to-back days, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have to tell, like, everyone that I know, like, I'm like, sorry guys, like Sundays.
I can't do anything anymore.
I kind of just, I mean, I'm working from home essentially. I'm not like I'm going to go out in the field.
Still.
But everyone wants their deliveries on Monday morning, and then there's like reports and like just evaluation. You got to look at all your stuff,
right? And you're setting yourself up. So I'm not only setting myself up for the week for work. I'm setting myself. I do a hard reset on myself physically. Like I do all of my, everything shower. I do like I do all of that. I do all of that on Sundays. On top of all the. I cook everything for the week. I do I do the laundry for Sunday, on Sunday for the week ahead. I get the kids' schedules situated. Now, my husband is very organized as well, and he does not work Saturdays and Sundays, so he is working for me essentially on Sundays. But, that's kind of like the thing what I do on Sundays. So yesterday, I think I made, 3 or 4 different meals so that because my daughter's back at volleyball after she hasn't started school yet, but she's doing volleyball practice, so somebody's got to make food. I'm the only one that cooks, so
really? Okay.
Yep, so I'm the only one that cooks in my family, and so I do all of that, and then that way we're not trying to figure out what we're going to have to eat, and then I'm doing that. I'm making like some snacks and trying to get all of that. So that's what I do. And I make homemade sourdough bread on Sundays. So I have that all during the week because I do eat carbs, but that's usually my carb is like sourdough bread because it is the best
it's delicious
for you.
By the way, note to everybody, I was at the Raleigh farmers market, the big one down here over the weekend. Went with my neighbor, and I had never had the bread at the one place that's like up in the corner at the back.
Yeah.
And this is like really bad descriptions because I don't remember the name of the.
Take a right.
It's indoors, but it's in the back building. Oh my God, the sourdough is the most pillowy, soft bread I've ever.
It's like sandwich bread, sourdough.
But it was unsliced, but like whole loaf. So that's the only problem is I was like trying to slice it down, and it's so soft that it's kind of hard to slice. Like you almost need to take it to Whole Foods where you got the slicer thing, and
you need the bread knife that.
Yeah, I mean, I got that. I got a nice bread knife, but it's still a pain in the ass. Yeah. But I will say, going to the market, I got these amazing heirloom tomatoes. I had that bread. I got some Chapel Hill or a goat lady goat cheese spread.
Yeah.
And then fresh basil that my neighbor had. She gave it to me. So like for breakfast on Sunday, I toasted some of that bread, and then spread a little goat cheese, put the tomato on there, salt and pepper, a little olive oil, and then diced up some basil and sprinkled that on top. It was tremendous. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I want to eat
this.
Like
is the way you need to eat. Yeah, and that's what I do. So before I go to the gym in the mornings, I have a piece of toasted sourdough bread. My 10-year-old made homemade butter last week. And then we did French salt and then a local honey.
Yeah.
So that's what I have before I go to the gym on every morning. And
that's nice. And that's not like, it's delicious though. So it's not like decadent, but still.
And really good for your gut health. Sourdough is really good. Oh. Yeah. And I have very low blood pressure. So in order to bring that up, my doctor was like, eat as much salt as possible. And I was like, done. I love salt. So.
All right. I have to ask you a question that's a little maybe too personal.
Okay.
But your husband met you when you were a chunky monkey, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, I was like a size 8 or 10. I wasn't, I definitely gained weight after we, I was definitely, yeah.
But all that said, because I have a buddy that had a wife that has a wife that was a little round,
Okay.
curvy,
Yeah.
but he kind of liked her that way.
Yeah.
And now she's rail skinny. And he has like looked at me like after like 6 glasses of wine at the bar, and he's like, I do miss that booty, man.
Yeah.
He's like, I know she's fit and she'll probably live an extra 10 years, but God damn it.
Yeah.
She's too damn skinny now. Is he all good with that?
Yeah, he's good. I think
Sorry,
he
I know
probably would want like more butt, right? Is probably every man's dream. I do have to have back surgery next week, and so I was
no.
making a joke that while I was face down, butt up, that maybe they could shoot some injections in there. But my back doctor, it has zero personality, which is exactly the way I want him because he's really good at his job.
Yeah, you don't
but
need
not
silly-
the joking type, right?
Yeah.
So I decided not to make that joke because I have made some very inappropriate jokes to a lot of doctors, the vet included, while we're doing vet work for the horses. And I'm like, hey, by any chance, can you do this while you're doing this?
yeah, while you're there.
Shoot some extra little nips and tucks while you're doing the horse. Go ahead, do me while you're at it. But yeah, I think because he knows that for me that I'm healthier and that I still have some curves, right? Like I'm always going to be built that way. I'm not ever going to be. In my mind, I'd love to be 6 foot and like model skinny, but that's never going to happen. So 5'5" and 125 with some muscle is fine.
Yeah.
So I think because I still have that and he sees how hard I've worked and how much healthier I am, I think he's fine. Probably
I'm
a
sure he's
BBL probably would not hurt every once in a while, but to be continued. Maybe that will be like 10 years from
I'm
now.
sure.
Who knows?
I'm sure with modern medicine, the way they've got it going on, that somebody will like
As they're doing my back surgery. That's what I need.
Yeah, they'll create like an Ozempic that like literally takes the fat from your stomach and puts it in your butt.
I mean, I think that they have those. I just don't. I not to be like, oh, I don't have any fat because I do. I just don't have a ton extra that I could put somewhere like I used to. I did have a mommy makeover in, I guess it was like after my first like 120 pounds. So 2019, I think I had a mommy makeover.
What does that mean?
So I had breast augmentation and a tummy tuck.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask
Yeah.
after you lose so much weight, because we've had James Sampson on from Corner Boys. He lost quite a bit more than you because he was like maybe 600 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
And now he's like, he fat shamed me in front of me the other day. And I'm like,
Perfect.
how dare you? I'm like, but you know what? I appreciate that you can call me a fat ass.
Yeah.
Because when have you been able to
Right.
be on the other side of that
Yeah.
that token? But yeah, he like literally patted my belly at Bubbles and
like-
Brisket. And he was just a guest there. And I'm like, oh, you don't get to do. Oh, my. You know what?
Yeah,
Actually,
you do.
you get to do that. That's fine. But yeah, he, I mean, I think he literally dropped almost 400 pounds and even if it's 300, it's still like whatever. It's a
Right.
crazy amount.
Yeah.
But of
It's
course,
the
there's a
loose
lot of
skin.
loose skin laying
Yeah.
around. So
So I had my tummy done, and then after nursing 2 babies and losing a bunch of weight, I had a lot of loose skin, and so I just did it all at the same time. I recovered like an absolute champ that I am. I have a very, very high tolerance of pain. Went in, never even took a pain pill. I didn't take an ibuprofen. I took nothing. And I was back at the gym 2.5 weeks post-op,
well, wait a minute.
which
I mean,
is
they put you
not,
under to
yeah,
slice you up and all that.
yeah,
you
but
mean
I
in
like
recovery.
after that, nope. After I came out of recovery, I never had anything.
Were
Yeah,
you in pain though?
nope.
I mean,
And
you were, but
I really was
you
not.
dealt
My
with it.
doctor was like, I don't think I really was. I think like my skewed vision of what pain is really not what everybody's is. And so that was the thing is like my plastic surgeon was like, you are not to tell anybody that you ever had this surgery because you are an anomaly for recovering like this, and people do not recover like this. It's like you went to the grocery store, had literally breast augmentation and a tummy tuck, and had no problem. And I
Yeah.
was back. It's usually a 6-week clearance before you can start lifting anything, and I was 2.5 weeks. Like
Yeah,
it just,
my cousin when I was probably 13 and she was 19, I think. She had the old surgery done on the
Yeah.
boobs.
Yeah.
And then no one, but she had to like get it done up in San Francisco and we lived in San Jose. And I just remember that particular day I stayed home sick from school because I was sick, but I really wasn't.
Of
I was
course.
just playing hooky.
Yeah.
But I remember she like called the house because her mom wasn't going to be home. She called. She's like, I need to come to stay at your house. And she sounded like very desperate. And I'm like, what's wrong? Are you okay? She's like, I'm fine. I'm fine. I just had my surgery. She drove a stick shift Jetta
Oh,
right
perfect.
after because no one was there to pick her up.
Yeah, I'm sure that was really allowed.
And it's like 45 minutes away in like bumper to bumper traffic in, the
so
Bay
you
Area is not a
really-
fun place to
yeah,
drive.
No.
And when she made it to the house, she just crashed, landed on the couch. And then I just was like getting
Slept
her
for
water.
3 days.
I
Yeah,
did- I think
yeah.
I did give her like
Right.
some ibuprofen or whatever.
Yeah.
She wasn't that strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, those aren't things you're supposed to do. Like
Yeah.
you're supposed to recover.
And, a lot of people are like, oh, well, are you somebody that pushes plastic surgery? And I'm like, listen, I think you do whatever makes you feel good and whole.
Yeah.
And, I worked really hard at losing that weight and still continue to do that. And so it wasn't really, I mean, it can be a reward, but it was, for me, it was more about like just having the loose skin was a reminder, that
Yeah, no, you
I
did
did all of
exactly
this.
what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like it was,
So-
you kind of like that's the final chapter in the whole thing, and it's almost like the reward, right?
Yeah.
Like I did all this work, I lost all this weight, I do have all this skin that's sagging,
Yeah,
so like
let
I'm
me
gonna
do
clean it
this.
up so I can
Yeah.
look the way I
Right,
want to look,
right.
and more power to you. That's awesome. That's pretty admirable.
Thank you.
Okay, so now today you're fit,
Uh-huh.
you're still riding horses.
Yeah.
You make these chef jackets. You've done quite well within PFG. I see your name every now and then in the general sales meetings
Working
get
that
called.
I'm making that extra money on the produce right now.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, yeah.
I have no idea. We're supposed to be making money on produce. No, but yeah, I got some pips in there. But no, I'm kidding. I do know. I know a little bit. So I mean, what's on the horizon now? I mean, you have this full-time job and it does require a lot of you. It is
It's a lot.
6 days as we discussed. It's
Yeah.
it's a lot. So like even this podcast, we're doing this on a Monday
After
night
work hours.
after work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, today was torrential downpour, like almost a hurricane. So the fact that you were able to drive all the way out here and
Right.
who knows how bad it's going to be on the way back. Although
gonna be fine.
I think it's going to be okay.
It's gonna be all right.
But I appreciate you coming all the way out here to do this. Yeah, but I mean, do you have you got any things
what's
on the
next?
horizon? Like what you seem like you always are moving forward.
You
So
know,
what's next?
The funny thing is that I keep saying the hustle is hustled out. I feel like, so my oldest daughter is 15 and my youngest is 10 and a half, almost 11. They keep us very busy, as you know, these kids. I am kind of, I don't want to say I'm ramping down because that sounds ridiculous.
Sure.
But, I don't know what's next. I would love to look at other opportunities and growth, whether it's within PFG or other avenues. I don't think I'll ever not hustle
Yeah.
and work really hard and be that creative and all of that stuff. But I also really want to move to the mountains after my youngest is done with school.
Yeah.
My husband was ex-Air Force stationed in New Mexico. We went to Montana this past Christmas and I felt very whole out west.
Oh.
I feel like that's the way that I would end up going.
Been watching Yellowstone?
I love Yellowstone, yes. But I think, kind of like paring back what my life is, to be honest with you. I think the 50 acres, the horses, when my mom passed, I kept going and going and going and going and not stopping.
Yeah.
We closed the farm and the business last July. I still have 4 horses and I'm enjoying them in a different way that I have not been able to since I was probably 4 years old. I can't remember the last time I enjoyed 4 horses. But 50 acres is a lot
Yeah.
and still, having to work full time and be an entrepreneur,
Yeah. You got a lot on your
do
plate.
all of that stuff while my children are still growing, and travel volleyball is one expensive,
Oh,
and that's the
Jesus.
only reason why I'm still working is travel volleyball.
Can I just say that travel volleyball, travel sports,
Is a
I've talked about this.
racketeer. I know.
It's a cult. No, it's a
It is a
cult.
goal.
And it is not unlike these like super churches where they're like, if you just give a little,
No, they keep taking.
give it like, and
Yeah.
but like the church's promise is that like you're gonna ascend or the Messiah is gonna come, all these like crazy shit,
Higher
but
power.
like higher power. But the church, the sports, the travel ones
Church of
are like
Travel.
the Church of Travel,
Yeah.
thank you, is like your athlete will be a professional
Yeah.
and you'll make it. And it's
See,
like, oh, bullshit.
I know that. So Gianna, my oldest, is very talented, and she's better than a lot, but not going to be D1, right? So I feel like,
So what's
I
it
don't
all
know.
for?
Organized sports was never my thing. I don't like relying on anybody except myself. So when I compete and I show with horses, it's just me and my horse, right?
Yeah.
So if I mess up, it's my fault. If he messes up, it's probably still my fault. So it's me against me, and I really enjoy that one-on-one competition. I do not like organized sports, but she, like I said earlier, is that she was born with a rare autoimmune disease. So for her to overcome a whole lot of what she has overcome, and continues to, I just think that I see how accepting and supportive and how it has really made her this wonderful
Yeah.
girl. There's no competition. She's very supportive. She's a team player, works really, really hard, very academic as well. And now my youngest, she's 5 foot at 10 years old and can actually play 2 ages up in volleyball because of how talented she is.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
she may have a chance to go D1, but she's 10, so we don't really know, right?
Yeah.
So why? I don't know.
That's what
I
the
guess
travel
the
guys are telling you.
kids, I
She's gonna
know.
make it, yeah.
So I tend to actually not, I don't travel that much for volleyball with the kids because of work, honestly.
Do you force your husband to do all the
He
traveling?
does,
Yeah.
and he loves it. He
Well,
is
'cause-
one of those dads.
Yeah, but I've heard, and we even have a counterpart,
Oh, yes.
Scott, that
There's, yep, Scott.
is doing all this too.
Yep.
Shout out to Scott, good man. But I also hear that it's kind of fun for the parents. Like it's kind of a party on the
I
weekends.
mean, we definitely enjoy.
Not everyone's
Yeah.
drinking coffee with those Yetis at all those.
I know we
places.
drink coffee, but there might be something else in the other one.
But I do think I think this is part of the cult that like. It's
yeah.
Also, it's
Well,
fun.
also, but in order to survive a 12-hour day of volleyball, you have to. Like,
Yeah.
where else are you going to have fun with it?
Yeah.
But, I just think for me is that I had riding horses as the thing when I was growing up.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is my girls. They don't do dance. They don't do softball. They don't do anything else. They go to school and they do volleyball. So, that's when the only reason I'm working is because of travel sports and that they want to go to college. Unfortunately, they're really smart. So I guess they're going to want to go and get educated and go to college.
dare they.
These kids want to do better than what they're doing. So I think after that, we'll kind of see. I really, North Carolina mountains, Virginia mountains, Tennessee, or out west is kind of where. And if I'm still with performance, God willing, then hopefully I can put a transfer in and just move.
Or national.
Chris Dotson keeps asking for me to go that way, but
There you go.
they have a lot on their team, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean we're national. Yeah, you can take it
Yeah.
to California. You
The
can
funny
take it
thing is,
anywhere.
I went to a horse show in Scottsdale in February, and I went for my 40th birthday, and we went to a restaurant, and I had a flatbread pizza, and it was on a pizza crust. And I said, oh my God, is this a PFG account in Scottsdale, Arizona? So I asked the waiter, and my husband goes, please don't do this. Please don't do this right now. Please don't. And I was like, excuse me,
Always working.
who's your food distributor? And he was like, I don't know. You want a manager? And I was like, absolutely, I do. And they're like, oh, we use so-and-so and so-and-so and Performance Food Service. And I was like, I knew it. I knew it by the pins of crust. And he's like, I knew you were going to do it. And I was like, well, that's just one of those things. But those are things that probably you and I would have picked up on, regardless if we worked at Performance or not, is, those are all things that we picked up on just because we're in the restaurant industry.
And
right?
you too can have a pinch of crust. Call us. We'll sell it.
Right?
We'll sell it
Yeah.
to you.
But
Yeah.
I get it. I said it first.
Oh yeah. You get the commission. I'll get the cases. No, this is great. Well, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
And
I appreciate it.
it's cool to know a little bit more, even just within the company. We just had our
End of year,
end
New
of year
year,
fiscal, and then it was kind of
New
kind of
Year.
a celebration. We did a little Top Golf,
Yeah.
and then everyone else just kind of let their hair down and went out and had fun. I was late to the general sales meeting the very next day,
It
well
was
as
wink, wink, but I was not. Guess who was there? I was there early.
yeah. Well, I was an idiot because I just assumed, and again, don't assume.
Never assume. You know what happens.
Don't
I should have
assume.
checked with you before I left you that night before and said, don't forget the hotel is 30 minutes from where our meeting is.
Yeah. By the way, don't. Bosses that scheduled all this, don't listen right now. I'm not talking to you. I don't want you to hear this part, but I want to tell everybody else. When you have your sales team go to a meeting that's you're having them all go to a hotel, wouldn't it make sense to have the hotel next to where the meeting is being held?
Well,
it was a half an hour away.
yeah, see, I think where the whole mess up was, I think where they just poor planning. They should just not have a meeting after our end of year New Year fiscal party, because I understand them wanting to bus us over to our party and bus us back to the hotel. But then came the problem of people realizing that then the meeting was somewhere else. So I think we should just be able to enjoy the end of the year, New Year things, and then send us home the next day.
No.
Just give us the next day
where
off.
they realize who's good and who's me.
Yeah, well.
Yeah,
I made it. I'm on the committee at 8:00 in the morning. So I was there for the 8:00 committee with my cup of coffee and water. So I made it though.
Yeah. No, that was a fun time. We all had a good time.
When I saw you midday and you were like, just FYI, I was very late this morning. And I was like, uh-oh. You and a handful of other people.
Oh, I think there was at least a dozen of us that were late, and most of them were on my team. But but anyhow, thank you for coming all the way out here.
I appreciate it.
You drive safe when you get back there. But for those that want to inquire about your about Che Figata, your jackets, you can go to Shop Chef Figata?
So it's Shop Che Figata.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Shop. Oh, I was saying chef, but it's not.
It looks like.
Shop Che Figata, but Che Figata looks like Chef Igata. .com. I'll put a link in our show notes, but check them out. They're really cool. There's a lot of female lady chefs in our listening audience, and so if you end up getting one, let us know. Tag us and tag Jillian, and just let us know. That would be fun. But they look cool. They're sporty. They're fit. You can kind of you can get all your work done. Yeah, super functional. But I will see you out in the field.
Yes.
And we will sell
great week.
pizzas and Roma, a little baccio cheese, a little Braveheart beef. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon.
Thank you for listening to the North Carolina Food and Beverage Podcast. By rating us online, you're helping others to discover our show. Follow us on all platforms at NCFB Pod.